Okay, so I'm in Pensacola, Florida right now, and the last update that I made, I was in Lamy, New Mexico, hopping on a train. So let me see if I can explain to you what I've done since then. Check out the map. Alright, so to begin with, I had hiked all the way to Taos, New Mexico, and then at that point, that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to go to California and hike out there. So I hopped on a shuttle that took me all the way down to Santa Fe, and then I took a little bus down to Lamy, just underneath Santa Fe. That's where the train station is. So I hopped on the train and we cruised all the way out here to LA. And so at LA, from that point, it was horrible weather. They say it never rains in Southern California. Well, that's a lie, because it rained a lot when I got there. But the nice thing is, it's California and it's highly populated. There's lots of people out there that have been following along with the trip, so I was able to spend some time with them and get some fellowship and have some fun while it was raining. But once it finally stopped raining, let's see what I did here. Okay, so from LA, I was able to get up here in the San Bernardino area, and that's where I started hiking. So I hiked all the way up until I got to Hesperia, which is just south of Victorville. Now in Hesperia, I met a guy who took me to church that night, and the church was up in Victorville, so it was like a 4-mile difference. And so there was a hotel really close to the church there that they put me up in. And so the next day I had to think, okay, do I want to hike 4 miles south and then get a ride back here so then I can hike on to Vegas? But I decided, you know what? When I come back through on the hiking trip, I'll be headed west through here and I'll just make sure to stop and hike these 4 miles that I missed. I am on the edge of Highway 15 in the high desert of California, and I have discovered more evidence for evolution. Just look at this cluster of little trees here. You got this old piece of tree that looks like it's evolving into a skull. You know, those popular desert skulls that you see on cartoons and such? And it's got to be true because there it is. So what I did is from Victorville, I just continued to hike all the way up until I made it to Barstow. By the time I got to Barstow, the truth is I was feeling a little burnt out. It was getting close to February, so it was time for me to take a break again. And my stepfather was really sick and on his deathbed back in Dallas. And so at Barstow I had to think, okay, well, if I really hoof it all the way to Vegas, I can get to Vegas and then hop on a flight to Dallas. Or I could just go back down towards Los Angeles, and basically that's what I decided to do. So all the way up in Barstow, I hopped on a bus and went down to Victorville, and then hiked that 4 miles that I missed, and then went down to San Bernardino and picked up where I started, and then continued to hike southwest like normal, and only hiked all the way to San Dimas. And so initially I was wanting to cover all the distance between Los Angeles and Vegas, which is about 200 miles, and instead I covered all of about 86 miles. So all that time and effort, only 86 miles, but it was still pretty nice because of all the people I met and the families I stayed with. I got to stay with a family in Yorba Linda. I got to meet a friend in the LA area in Hollywood. I got to stay with some other people up in Lancaster for a couple of days, so that was kind of nice. And all of that was before I started hiking towards Vegas. I covered Barstow to San Dimas. Alright, January 13th, 2011, I'm at the Boston Market in San Dimas, California. And of course, Boston Market has the coolest drink dispenser that you'll find anywhere in the United States. Alright, I am in San Dimas, California, and I am at the Extended Stay Hotels. And I've had the privilege of traveling all over the United States, and every once in a while I get to stay in hotels and stuff, but I rarely get to stay in the name brand ones because they're kind of expensive. So I usually stay in whatever small town hotel that they have for about 40 or 50 bucks. That's about my budget. But today, somebody put me up in the extended stay hotel, which is really awesome. This place is huge. It's almost as if it was built for someone to stay for an extended period of time. But check it out, this is the set of Friends. I got a door that comes into the kitchen. I might as well have a foosball table right there. But I don't. Now the only thing I don't like when hotels have the one switch. And so of course you turn it on and turn on the light, but it also turns on this fan that of course never does anything except make noise. So I find that kind of annoying. So not only is it spacious and comfortable and clean, look at that, the carpet. I actually trust being able to take my socks off and walk around. That's how clean I feel here. And check this out over here. We got the closet. Closet with real hangers. Real hangers that you can take off, put things on it, and then hang it. Huh? You never find that at a hotel. And it's got this curtain, which of course, you pull the curtain and it hides all the unsightlies in your closet, which is cool. But of course, if you have children, family, this becomes a fort or a hiding place. And you know, when the kids aren't around, sometimes it's a fort for me too. While I'm here, it seems like, okay, this is probably going to be like 150, 160, 170 bucks a night. But no, from what I understand, it's only about 10 bucks more expensive than the Motel 6 across the street. And Motel 6, yeah, they'll keep the light on for you, but they're not going to give you a kitchen on the set of Friends, huh? And of course, every hotel, pretty much every hotel that I've ever been to, has a nightstand with a drawer, and in it, a King James Gideon's Bible, which is always pretty cool. Now obviously I have a Bible of my own that I travel with, but here's what I like to do. I like to go into John chapter 8 verse 32, sometimes I circle it, and I pretty much always put a celebrity $1 million bill from wayofthemaster.com in there. This one's Tom Hanks, obviously. You may know him from Bosom Buddies, or well, probably not. And of course, my guard. So stick that in there. And so it's not real money, but it is an eternal reward. And so for anyone that ever gets this particular room and picks up the Bible and opens it up, they'll find some gospel tracts. That's kind of cool. So, extended stay hotel. Go for it. And remember, San Dimas High School football rules! Dude. I hopped on an airplane at LAX, and I just happened to be on a flight with Evander Holyfield and Bobby Brown. Neither of which I was able to talk to, which was kind of a bummer, because how cool would that be to get to like witness to Bobby Brown or something? But the whole time on the flight, I kept thinking, oh, if there was just some way I could get back there and talk to him and encounter him, you know, strike up a conversation. And I never was, because he's Bobby Brown, so he's got people talking to him already. I didn't think witnessing to Evander Holyfield was all that necessary. After all, he's already had a Muslim gnaw in his ear. But it also made me realize that I was, at that point, I was being a respecter of persons, to put it biblically. I was so consumed with the idea of witnessing to Bobby Brown and would have been so honored and excited to do that, but yet for some reason I didn't feel as honored and privileged to witness to the person sitting right next to me on the plane. But anyway, I left LA and I went to Dallas. And so back in Dallas, I was able to go to my stepfather's funeral, and then the Super Bowl was in town. So as usual, Dallas is full of the good and the bad. And of course, the Dallas Cowboys weren't in the Super Bowl, but still the Super Bowl was in Dallas, so that was kind of exciting. Here comes the shot. Oh! Beautiful. Oh man, he's showing us up. Now we're gonna miss everything. There it is. Yeah! Yeah! Okay, so we're even. Back me up after I missed the first. That was awesome. And I was over at a friend's house watching the game, which is maybe 5 miles away from the stadium where it's at now in Arlington, Texas. And so, as much as I'm not a fan of jets flying over a stadium for big events and stuff, and what a waste of money that is, especially considering at Cowboy Stadium, the roof was closed for the Super Bowl, but there were still jets that flew over. Yeah, our economy must be really bad. But as much as I don't like that, it was still kind of neat because I'm over at my friend's house and we're watching on the TV and the jets fly over and the big hubbub with that. But then within, 2 to 3 seconds, the jets flew right over the house of where I was staying. And it was very loud. But it was kind of fun because it put me right there. It was like, whoa, we're right there. That's right where we're at. We're in the game. Even though we're not. Because of course I didn't have tickets to the game because I don't have thousands upon thousands of dollars to just go spend on a Super Bowl. But I wish I did though. That would be pretty cool. So now after all that, I am refreshed. I'm ready to get back on the road and hike the final leg from Taos, New Mexico, all the way to the California-Mexico border at the Pacific Ocean. And my goal, obviously, is to go out there and spread the gospel. I want to reach as many people as I can and explain to them what the gospel is, because most people in America don't know. We grow up with church and with Christianity, and I'm doing quotes for the church, Christianity. I do it with my other hand, but it's holding the camera. And people believe in Jesus, and they believe in God, and all this kind of stuff. But very, very few people in America are really Christian and really understand what it's all about. And so that's what I seek to communicate to people that I encounter along the way. But with that, I'm also forcing myself into having to share with people. I'm putting myself in a position to where I have to get out there and witness to people because that's what I'm doing. I'm out there on the road and, hey, what are you out here hiking for? Well, I'm here to talk to you about the gospel. And so in this final 1,050 miles, not only do I hope to reach a lot of people and maybe even raise a lot of publicity for the cause of Christ. That would be nice. But the other thing that I'm accomplishing with this is it's making me a more effective Christian. I'm becoming more effective at being able to witness to people. So by the time I get to the end of this, hopefully I'll be good. Or at least I'll be better than I was when I started in Maine. So that's what we're doing. Coast to Coast for Christ. Mission to America. Yeah. And what I'm going to try to do over the next couple of days is to update the website and put some posts on there and show people the route that I'll be traveling. Because I have 1,050 miles left to go, and it's through the wide open West. And so I'll be going through the bottom of Colorado, the Four Corners, and then through the top of Arizona, the bottom of Utah, through Las Vegas, and then all the way down to Barstow. But once I get to Barstow, I'll get to hop on a bus and skip the 86 miles I already did and go down to San Dimas. And then from San Dimas, I'm going into Bellflower to visit Way of the Master and Living Waters Ministry there. And then it's just a nice little vacation stroll down the beach all the way to Mexico. So stay tuned. That should be fun.